Good morning, everyone. I will now call to order the May 8th, 2025 Clackamas County Board of Commissioners business meeting. Gary Schmidt, would you please call the roll for us?
Yes, Chair, thank you. First, our staff support today, County Counsel Jane Beto, Clerk to the Board Andrew Jaraki. Commissioner Schrader is out of the office today. Roll call, Commissioner Savas.
Present.
Commissioner West.
Here.
Chair Roberts.
Here. All right, thank you. Would you now please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, good morning, and again, welcome everyone. First up is public communication. Testimony is limited to 3 minutes. I ask the comments to be respectful and courteous. As a reminder, you can email submissions for public communication at bcc@clackamas.us, and these will be accepted as a part of the public record. I will now open the meeting for public testimony. I will take in-person testimony first. Clerk, would you please moderate the in-person and virtual testimony for us?
Thank you, Chair. I've received 0 blue cards. This is a final call. If you are attending this meeting in person today and would like to speak during this public comment portion of the agenda, please fill out a blue card and deposit in the box by the door. Chair, seeing no one who wishes to speak in person, I'll now move with your assent to virtual. If you are attending this meeting virtually and would like to comment, please raise your hand and I will call on you in the order that I see. This is a final call. If you are attending this meeting virtually and would like to speak during the public comment portion of this agenda, please raise your hand and I will call on you in the order that I see. Mr. Chair, I see no other members of the public, either virtually or in person, who wish to comment today.
All right. Thank you, Andrew. I will now close the public communication portion of this meeting, and we'll move on. I will now recess as the Board of County Commissioner and convene as the Housing Authority. Gary, what is on the agenda for us?
Apologies, Chair, your script is incorrect. I'm so sorry, that's a staff error. There's no Housing Authority item today. Could you please reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners?
All right. That can make things a little easier.
I'm so sorry, Commissioners.
All right, we'll reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners. And Gary, what is on our next agenda?
Thank you. Again, I apologize. Originally, we did have a housing item that we changed the business agenda a few days ago. So sorry, Commissioners. All right, next is the consent agenda for the Board of County Commissioners. Andrew, would you please read the consent agenda?
Consent agenda for the Board of County Commissioners. Item A, elected officials. Approval of previous business meeting minutes. B, Health, Housing, and Human Services. Approval of a grant application to Oregon Housing and Community Services for redevelopment of Housing Authority properties in disposition. Application value is $1,093,892 for 3 years. Funding is through the Oregon Housing and Community Services. No county general funds are involved. 2, approval of a subrecipient grant agreement with Project Quest for non-opioid pain management services. Agreement value is $449,918.44 for 30 months. Funding is through the Oregon Health Authority. No county general funds are involved. C, transportation development. 1, approval of a board order to authorize the sale of tax foreclosed properties via auction. Auction minimum proceeds value is approximately $407,531. Funding is through auction proceeds. No county general funds are involved. 2, approval of a contract with David Evans and Associates for the Trolley Trail Clackamas River Bridge Project engineering-related services. Contract value is $1,250,343.40 for 2 years. Funding is through the Metro Regional Flexible Fund Allocation Program and the City of Gladstone. No county general funds are involved. Mr. Chair, that concludes the consent agenda.
All right. Thank you very much. Colleagues, wish to remove any items from the consent agenda? Yeah, seeing none, may I have a motion?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All right. Commissioner Savas has moved to approve the consent agenda. Commissioner West has seconded that. Any further discussion? Seeing none, clerk, would you please call the poll?
Commissioner West.
Aye.
Commissioner Savas.
Aye.
Mr. Chair.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0, Mr. Chair.
Right. Thank you. Gary, what is next?
All right, next is County Administrator update. That's me. I'd like to share the great work of our county employees. Today, I want to recognize our employees from Public Health who were recognized at the annual Oregon I can't say the word, epidemiologist meeting, the Oregon Epidemiologist Meeting. Through the Oregon Health Authority, Clackamas County Public Health Infectious Disease Control and Prevention Team was awarded the Contagious Collaboration Award, Contagious Collaboration, for our collaborative work with Marion County during last year's measles outbreak. The largest measles outbreak in the United States in 2024 was right here in Oregon, in Marion and Clackamas counties. There were 30 cases associated, with 9 of those being in Clackamas County. So this award was given to Marion County and Clackamas County Public Health for the collaboration they both exhibited in helping resolve these issues with that measles outbreak. So thank you to our team from Public Health and all they do to coordinate with others in the region to help stop the spread of infectious diseases and protect the health of our community. That is my update for today. Back to you, Chair.
Right. Thank you, Gary, very much. That's great news. I was going to ask you to say it 3 times fast, but
I can't say that. Epidemiology.
There you go. You're getting it. All right. Next, we have Commissioner Communication, and I would like to turn the floor over to Commissioner Savas for comments.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I just want to speak a little bit about the ribbon cutting for the courthouse on Saturday. Great event. I heard we had near 400 or maybe a little over 400 people show up for that. It's a great building. Had a chance to walk through it, completed this time. The tours I've been on prior have been with a helmet on, hard hat, and no windows in the building while I was under construction. So, yeah, it was very, very nice. I just want to say, Gary, I really appreciated your comments when you spoke towards, talked about the sacrifice that's been made along the way to get this project done. You know, I do know that there were some people that were in the audience that, you know, felt that they ought to be had recognized or maybe were, you know, whatnot. So I do want to just say that DA John Foote was in the audience and he was a very strong advocate for this for many, many, many years. I know that we had some strong conversations back and forth in trying to figure out how to get it done. You know, I have been a supporter of the project. My challenge was how we funded it, and that hasn't changed. I think the challenge still before us is how we fund it and how we budget for it. We do, just to instill confidence, you know, we do have a very detailed, and I really appreciate our finance staff for all the hard work they're trying to do to forecast over a 30-year period. I do appreciate what I learned from the auditor and in our discussions that we can actually make an annual audit of the forecasting because it's such an imperative, such an important tool going forward. So I will be advocating for that during our budget cycle. You know, but I think that the real sacrifices and compromises are still yet to come for the next 30 years, which I won't be here for 30 more years as a county commissioner, I'm sure. I just want to say up front, you know, it's maybe how we chose this path, and you know, I think there was a couple alternatives that, you know, one of them was go to the voters, and I think that was already kind of dismissed. But there were a couple other ways we could have approached this, and I think that the annual payment would have been, you know, in my rough calculations, would have been significantly less. A little bit more riskier on the upfront on the first 3 years during construction, but nonetheless, we're here. This is the hand we have dealt, and you know, I'm glad to know that you know, people are moving in, and we'll be in full operation at the end of the month, I believe. So again, you it took a lot of collaboration. As I shift over to collaboration, and I liked your words there, just that contagious. I mean, that's an interesting way that that's framed. So I'd love to have a copy of that, by the way. So, but I just want to just take those words. But I do want to speak a little bit about collaboration in general. I mean, we're at that almost 25 years of the Clackamas County Coordinating Committee's existence, and I was thinking when you mentioned contagious, a fourth or fifth C, but jokingly, the Clackamas County Coordinating Commission is based on, coordination and collaboration with our partners, and whether that's districts or community or cities. There was always a challenge in communicating and working with our cities, and C4 has been a place and where we have really done a lot. We've done a lot together and solved a lot of problems. Libraries, which we're now approaching year 2008, what is it, 17 years now since that's been in place, and now it's time to make a couple of adjustments. Commissioner West and Mayor Buck and then Mayor Fitzgerald and others were, instrumental in trying to bring the supportive housing services matter to the table, which C4 has always been about more land use and transportation. So we've been really flexible in an effort to be collaborative. And I just want to do a shout out to all the members of C4, past and present, who have really been part of bringing that table, that collaboration forward. I remember when I first became a commissioner, I know I stated it several times, there's nothing that makes me more angry than governments, fighting governments, spending tax dollars, getting attorneys to fight each other, and not taking a collaborative approach, not working in good faith. All those things that I think we are responsible to our constituents to make sure that we are doing our best to be efficient and cooperative as possible. But that doesn't mean that we should forego or give up or sacrifice at the detriment of others. So I think everyone needs to be treated fairly on any kind of agreement. And so I look forward to the discussion on libraries, whether it's libraries or parks or it's roads or road transfers, everyone needs to be treated fairly. But Chair, that's my theme for today is collaboration. I yield back.
All right, thank you. Commissioner West.
Thank you, Chair. Last night, Clackamas County, Washington County, and Yamhill County gathered together to fill the vacant seat left by the late Senator Aaron Woods, who will be greatly missed. I believe you were in Senator Woods' district also. You live, right? So I know the chair and I both lived in his Senate district. We both knew him. I found him to be a pragmatic, sensible, good leader in the legislature. He was a pillar in the community for many years, since I can remember living there in Wilsonville. He'll be greatly missed, but because of his passing, we had to fill the Senate seat. So it's a responsibility of county commissioners that where that district resides to get together and to pick out of the candidates presented to us by the PCPs of the party of that held that seat, somebody to fill that seat. And so I want to we did that last night, and we spent some extra time interviewing, meeting the candidates, deliberating as county commissioners, and we chose Courtney Neron Representative Courtney Neron from House District 26. She lives in Wilsonville to fill Aaron Wood's seat. So thank you and congratulations to Courtney Neron for stepping up and for filling that Senate seat and being available to do so. So just wanted to give Representative Neron a congratulations. I had a really great honor this week to tour and get to know a new nonprofit in Clackamas County, over off Courtney Road in your neck of the woods, Commissioner, called Hope's Garden. It is a maternity home. They opened in February. They took a large old home right off Courtney Road, and they take in women who are pregnant and also are at risk of homelessness or homeless. And they give them the ability to, in a safe place and community, like a small family, safely have their child, and then up to 2 years after giving birth, they allow the mothers and the child to stay in the community there to get stabilized. And I thought it was a fantastic nonprofit. They were incredibly welcoming. It was a beautiful, very welcoming, serene home. And it's amazing what they've been able to accomplish since February. And they are very committed to the success of Clackamas County and the women in the region, especially those women that may find themselves in the situation in Clackamas County. It was an absolute pleasure, the highlight of my week, to get to learn about the work that they do, and then hopefully how we can partner with them. I think we have a lot of commonality in our goals around the prevention of homelessness, making sure the most vulnerable populations that may be caught in this situation have the resources necessary so that they can be stabilized and not face and find themselves on the streets. And Hope's Garden is doing great work there. Right now they're self-funded. And so that was just a fantastic opportunity. I think Martha called me from Portugal while I was there, and so she said hi to them on speaker too. And she wants to go check out the work that they do. And so thank you to Hope's Garden for having me out there. Tonight I will be at a CASA gala for Clackamas County CASA. I don't know if you may not know who CASA is or what they do. I'm sure you do, Chair, as your role as a sheriff. But they're community volunteers. They advocate for the best interests of children that find themselves in foster care. I guess the Clackamas County CASA, they've operated their successful organization since 1993 in Clackamas County. As a former foster parent, I can tell you they, at times, were the only advocate in the room that I knew had the children in our care's best interest at heart, and we knew we could trust them. And at many times they felt like an only lifeline, especially as we were going through the adoption process when we were adopting Jay, and he was our foster son, and that whole process. I can remember the heroes in the room that go kind of unsung, and they were often the CASA members. And so tonight I'm going to represent Clackamas County at their event that they're having here, and I look forward to that. And I just want to say, if you haven't looked into becoming a CASA, and that's something you might want to do to advocate and help kids in foster care. It stands for Court-Appointed Special Advocate. It is a volunteer position, but you're able to really advocate for kids. So if you want to advocate for kids in care and be a watchdog for them, it's a great opportunity. They are always needing more CASAs. They train you. They have a robust, fantastic training and program. So I would encourage people, if they want to look to do something in the community, becoming a CASA is quite rewarding and noble. So I can tell you as one former foster parent, we need great CASAs in our advocating for kids in the system and helping them find permanent, good, safe homes and making sure they're well cared for. So I look forward to doing that tonight, Chair and Commissioner's Office, and that's all I have.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner West. And just a couple comments to follow up on the selection of Courtney Neuron. I also want to give a shout out to Chair Harrington. It's quite a challenge for those of you who don't know that we had Yamhill County Commissioners, Washington County Commissioners, and Clackamas County Commissioners, and then doing the 3 interviews. So it was done very well, and we got through it. And so wanted to give a shout out to her for their organization and making that happen. And also to really follow up on Commissioner Savas' comments about the new courthouse, which is a huge accomplishment, and I know that was the direction for the board, and the county staff has done a great job. One of my commitments along the way, as I actually ran for this particular position, was a lot of questions about the cost of the courthouse and wanting to provide that on the website and make sure it's available for people to see. And want to thank Gary and his staff. We've worked over the last several months really just putting together the true cost. I think Andrew was going to show people how to kind of access that online. We'll talk shortly. I'll just make a few points on that. But to provide some information about the courthouse and the huge sacrifice that this county made to really get to the courthouse. So I'll wait just a second while he pulls that up. Yeah. Well, while he's pulling it up, I can, oh, there we go.
So it's www.clackamas.us/courthouse. # FAQ. It's on the /courthouse page, though. You can see it there. Click one of the arrows just as an example. So you see the question, then the answer. Do one more, please, Andrew. Question, answer. It's all there. clackamas.us/courthouse.
And on there, there's also kind of a spreadsheet, a budget summary, and to just kind of highlight the overall cost of that. So the total project was $345 million, and out of that, basically, the state contribution was about $139 million. And so it ended up that the county was responsible about $206 million. To give you an idea, there was a number of reasons why that project increased in value, but it initially started out about $220 million. And some of those costs that the county stepped up in countless ways and really looked at some hard things to make some savings. And to make this happen, they had to move the behavioral health clinic. That was about $11 million to move that. Come up with, which it also expanded the ability to have more services. The unfortunate part of the courthouse piece was that the district attorney's portion is not covered by 50% of the state. So that ended up working out as replacement courthouse building and related soft costs were about $30 million. And the county also made some, what I consider really significant impacts on eliminating some positions to make sure that the county could afford that. There were a little over 14 positions that were eliminated. That gave us about $1.9 million to use towards that courthouse. And then the projected annual payment over the next 30 years is about $15 million a year. It increases to about 17.4. And the overall total budget or project is counting interest and all the penalties. As when you buy a home, you see that great big number of what is that total cost is about $620 million. So I echo what Commissioner Savas has to say that that we have some challenges ahead of us, that we're really on a lean budget. We need to really be careful as we kind of move forward to make sure that we can make those annual payments. And it is an absolutely beautiful building. And just staff worked really hard to make that happen. I know that was the direction of the board, and I feel it's now our position to kind of make sure that we find those funds in every way we can to kind of keep the county solvent and moving forward a healthy way. So that's all I have to say about the courthouse. I want to say a couple other things. Mental Health Awareness Month, one of the critical services the county provides behavioral health care. Just to bring some attention to this important topic, every May the county takes part in events such as the NAMI Walk, which helps raise awareness for mental health issues. NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, hosts events to help raise awareness, improve the quality of life for individuals living with mental illness and their families. Anyone interested in taking part of this event is welcome to join the Clackamas NAMI team. I've done that a number of years in a row, actually, and would encourage folks to sign up. It's a great cause, a great group of people, and they really have their heart in helping those that struggle with mental illness. So, great event. The 2025 NAMI Walk is happening on Saturday, May 17th from 11 to 2 at Peninsula Park in North Portland. You can register at the fair, and it starts at 11. And the walk actually starts at 1, but you can show up there at 11. And it's about a half-mile loop. So would encourage you to check out. And they have a Clackamas NAMI team, and it's on the website. So again, if you are struggling with mental illness or you know someone that is, we encourage you to call the county as a 24/7 crisis and support line, and that is 503-655-8585. And last, and very important, just a reminder, Mother's Day is Sunday. And it's an important time to recognize your mother. And I can say that moms come in many different shapes, and positions. Sometimes they're a dad that plays a role of a mother and a father, and it's an important time. My mom is 90, and she's doing well. We're going to make sure I spend some time with her, and I encourage you, the rest of you, to say a big shout out to those that supported you growing up and being a good role model in your life. So with that being said, I will turn one last thing over to Gary to ask him if he has anything else to add.
Nothing else today. Thank you, Chair.
All right. Well, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, thank you for joining us today, and if there's no further business. This meeting is adjourned.